So this is all there is. I'm going home now. There's nothing. This is nothing apparently happening. Whatever you look at, whatever you feel, whatever seems to be there is nothing. Nothing apparently happening. It's the empty fullness. It's the beloved. It's what I call the beloved. Some people think I mean something holy. I don't mean anything holy about beloved. The beloved is a lover. Beloved is a lover. And it is everything. It is everything. It is unconditional love in every way. This is unconditional love. This is the beloved. This is nothing. You've never been anywhere except in nothing. Wherever you've been, wherever you think you've been. Well, I was born there and I grew up there and it was all simply nothing. And when the child is born, like any animal, when it's born, there's no sense of individuality, there's no sense of being separate, there just is what there is. Like an animal. It's an animal. And then later on, something seems to happen to the animal, which is different to any other animal, in that some sort of contracted state arises in the body. But the thing that's different is that the child is aware of it. It's aware. It's conscious of something arising. And as that contracted sense arises, so what arises with it is separation. The sense of separation. It's not real. There's nothing that's real. But there can be a sense of separation. For most children at that age, there's a sudden sense, I am a person. I am. And the mother and the mother and whatever else is out there happening to me. This is a very, very unique experience that only human beings seem to have. And of course, what comes along with it is sense of separation. And then thereafter, also, the child has now entered the dualistic world. Suddenly for the child, it begins to experience everything in the dualistic world. So as it grows, its experience of life is all born from a complete incomprehension. So most people in the world, not everyone, but most people in the world, live in dualism and live in the incomprehension of their experience of what's happening. They believe. Ask them, go out and ask them. They believe they are real. I am real. The world is real. The story is real. Everything is real. My free will and judgment and choice is real. Everything is real. It's an object out there that I can make use of. It's a real object. And this is the misconception of dualism. And as the child grows, so it meets many young people who also believe they are real. I'm a real person. And so it grows into that dualistic fantasy. It's a fantasy. But for the individual, it's real. It's absolutely genuine. What's difficult for the individual is that being separate is uncomfortable. So, but it's uncomfortable. It's a feeling, there's something lost, something missing. Why is it all like this? Most people don't ask that question very much, but some people do. And some people have the integrity to look deeper at why there is a sense of separation. They might look at it in religion, psychotherapy, whatever you like. But one of the ways they look are completely influenced by the way they experience life. And they experience life as a subject-object happening. I'm the subject, and the world out there is happening to me. So, if I want to be relieved of separation, if I want to experience, let's call it an awakening from separation, it's an object out there that I can obtain through processes, whatever. All the things that are on offer. If you go to YouTube, what's on offer on YouTube goes on forever, and it offers the answer to people. There is no answer to people who think they've lost themselves, because nothing's been lost. That's why there's no answer. So the whole activity of seeking is beautifully, wonderfully futile. It's utterly and completely, effectively futile. Nothing is ever going to happen. You can go on seeking for thousands of years and nothing will happen, because you are still projecting yourself and your intention forward into something which already is. You're projecting yourself into a space that is already here. You're trying to project yourself into something that you can have and own. And that whole energy, that's the energy of that projection, which is in a way aggressive, holds the whole what you're looking for at bay. Everything, what you really long for, still the nothingness that you really long for, simply doesn't arise. There's a projection. That's why I call the book The Open Secret. Claire and I and some other struggled over how we should call this little blue book. So we called it The Open Secret. It's the open secret because what you long for is completely open, in that it's absolutely everything there is and isn't already. This is the secret. You've got it already, you're sitting on it, you're breathing it, you're feeling it, you're hearing it. This voice is the secret. The open secret. It's a secret which is completely open and available all the time, at every moment. It speaks to you. Everything that's happening at the moment is the beloved speaking to you, saying, look, here it is. But all the time that you seek, it's a secret. All the time you push forward into that beloved energy to find something you can have yourself, it remains a secret and will always remain a secret. So we're here today to exchange ideas, and it may be that some ideas might get a bit wobbly, because this is a totally mad, radical message. It's completely mad. It doesn't make sense. It can't be analysed. It can't be proved. It just is what it is. And we can exchange all of that, and there might be some ideas that could shift. But the thing about this, what's going on here, is energy. What's happening here is that this voice, this suggestion about the open secret, these words about the open secret, your questions about the open secret as well, even though they might be aggressively intentional, somehow all of that has energy. The intentional energy has a sort of pushy energy, and the response. This is only a response. There's no one here. It's just a response out of nothing. And that response has an energy as well. So that's what's being shared here, apparently. And it's possible that in some way or other, that need, that push for the answer can go on and on, pushing into the softness and become blunter and softer and fall away. But you can't do it. Nobody has ever done it. Nobody does it. It's just what apparently happens. it's happening more. I keep on getting these phone calls. I had one the other day from a guy who was trying to describe this, and he said, Tony, I can't tell you what this is. I can't tell you what this is. The only thing I could say about it is that there's something magnificent about its utter and complete simplicity. It's totally simple, ordinary, and absolutely shoutingly obvious. But I can't describe it to you, and I don't think you can describe it to me, because I've watched you speak, and I know you can't do it. You can't describe it. So, whatever comes up, just shout. And there'll be a response. It may be quite a disappointing response, but it may not be. So let's see how it goes.
Hi Tony.
Hi William.
When we were speaking on Wednesday,
On the phone.
we were talking on the phone on Wednesday, and I can't remember what we were talking about. I was saying something, and you just started laughing, and you said, "It's amazing. We've been talking for years, and you still think I'm a person."
But in a way you can't help that. The people, the person speaker, in a way will always look at the person they're speaking to and see them as another person. And of course, what's clever about that is that they still think that this person sitting out here has the answer to everything.
Well, this is what I was going to ask about, because when I see you at the back of the room or walking or just sitting there, I feel really strong feelings of love. And I'm sure I love you anyway, but I don't know if that's me projecting this onto you, like what I want you have. Because one of the times...
You know I don't have anything. You know that. You say what I have you want. But you actually know, we talked about this enough time, that I don't have anything. There isn't anybody here that has anything. But certainly, if you project forward onto this and think of it as a person speaking in this way, then you would think that I'm a person who has something.
So if strong feelings of love are coming up, is that just resonance with the emptiness or whatever
It could be.
You're talking about? It could be, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Tony.
Hello.
The music isn't real music.
Munich.
Yes.
I know Munich.
And when a note arrives between the silence and all the music, there is nothing.
Oh, music.
Music.
Music arises, yeah. What about it?
It is nothing. Music.
Well, there is only nothing, and music is nothing.
Music.
Appearing as music.
And theater. When a director and actor make a theater, it happens.
Well, let's be clear about it. Let's be simple about it. There isn't anything that isn't nothing. Everything is nothing.
Everything is
When a chair creaks, regardless of music and acting, when a chair creaks, that's nothing.
There's nothing.
What is your concept about a body?
The body is just a thing. It's a thing that's happening like a table or a tree. It's nothing bodying. The problem with the individual is that they think they own everything. So the individual is my body. And I live in it, and I will die because I live in this body and it will die, that means that I will die as well. That's all part of the fantasy.
Hello. I have a question. If every child, when it's born, would not learn to be an individual, what would
It's
happen?
possible, I don't know. I think it's quite likely, but I've never met anyone who was born
Yes.
and didn't move into the fantasy.
But if it would happen to everybody, every baby would not be an individual, would not learn to be an individual. What would happen? Would everybody be enlightened and
No,
know?
no. Nobody is ever enlightened. There's no such thing as an enlightened person. Everybody not entering the dualistic world would be everybody not entering the dualistic world. So, meaning, because they don't actually enter the dualistic world, they appear to. Don't forget, nothing is real. So when the dualistic world is entered, it appears that it's entered into, I am a real person, I have free will of choice and all that crap. And then when it suddenly falls away, that whole aspect or that whole energy of being, there's a sudden recognition it was never real anyway, nothing is real. So to talk about it being there or not being there and what's the effect of that is pointless.
Thank you.
So my question is, so could one say that animals in a certain sense are somehow closer to a non-dualistic world?
Not really, no. Animals live in being, in presence. They are utterly and completely, they're not separate. They just are animals responding to what seems to be happening. There may be animals, especially pets, who appear to have human conditioning or human responses to things, but actually it's just a sort of conditioned habit-forming behaviour. But there isn't an animal in there deciding, I'm going to do this because that will bring me favour.
So I'm asking baby questions here, but I don't know anything about what you are talking.
Oh.
So I have to.
That's okay.
Could you differentiate for me? You say there's nothing, and you say there's energy. So where's...
Well, there's apparent energy. Everything is apparent. Everything is only an appearance. So energy is again like anything else, an appearance. So you could say, this is energy in this form, lots of bodies sitting on seats. It's simply an appearance. And it's completely meaningless. Because for it to have meaning and purpose, it would require time. And time, there is no such thing as real time. There is apparent time, again, all in the
Tony, you said before that when you collapsed or died or whatever, apparently, that it was kind of obvious that it was all over.
Well, yes,
Well,
apparently.
the words you used was
Then, let's be clear, when it was obvious it was all over, it's also obvious that it never really happened.
well. My question is, if you had completely vanished,
Well, I don't completely vanish, but the experience of being a separate individual vanished.
so if that had vanished, then what was it that kind of knew it was never?
No, there wasn't anybody that knew that, but it was just obvious.
So the brain just had a thought. I was never.
Yeah, but
real.
if the brain could recognise, oh, none of this has ever happened, but there's more to it than just the brain recognising.
It's an energetic recognition, is it? Thank you.
So it's nothing, and time is some appearance as well.
Time is an appearance.
And has the body a time?
Well, only apparently. The body is born and then it grows and it seems that it lasts for 80 or more years and then it dies. But that's got nothing to do with anything. That's just apparently what happened. Don't forget, you are not the body. There is no you. So how long the body lives or doesn't live is completely irrelevant because let's be clear about this, nobody lives. Oops. And there is nobody that's alive, so nobody dies. Except in the fantasy. In the fantasy, you could believe you are a person that's real, da-da-da-da-da. And then, you live in my body, you live in my body. And then what comes along with all that is the belief that when my body dies, which I live in, then I will die also. That's a complete fantasy. Nobody lives, nobody dies.
And on top of that, we handle with bodies.
We
Handle with bodies. We kind of
handle
we do this nothingness or this
No, we don't
nothingness.
do.
Or this, no, we don't do. Okay.
No, we don't do anything. We believe we do in the fantasy, but nothing is done. There is nothing done.
And bodies and animals and trees are
Apparently happened.
happening with and beside and to nothingness or whatever.
But apparently. This is apparent. This is apparent.
So what changes?
Nothing. Whatever appears to change is apparent.
And what changed what changes were there for you from the time before you had this whatever feeling or knowing or sneaking into nothingness and time after you did that for the first
Because what you're doing is turning it into a story. So before, when you were really Tony Parsons, and then you weren't, what was that about? Like, there is no story, there is no Tony Parsons, there never was. and there is no after Tony Parsons. There is only appearance. And so when the illusion that there was somebody called Tony Parsons who was real is no more, it's suddenly realised or recognised by no one. I'm very sorry about that. But there never was a Tony Parsons. And all there is the love.
I've heard you in YouTube somewhere, and I'm not sure if it was you, but
No, it wasn't.
I
I wasn't there at the time. Go on, sorry.
I've heard you saying that you have been seeking in a
But
time of your
apparently,
life.
yeah, there was Tony Parsons who was a not very good seeker.
Yeah, and I would be interested about the change in your feeling or whatever from the time of being a bad seeker to being
See
now
what
to
you
now.
do. You're still, whatever I say, it doesn't matter. You still want to turn it back into a story.
Mhm.
What were you doing when you were a seeker, and what was it like afterwards when you weren't? Just forget all of that. That's bullshit. There isn't a before and after. There is no time. There's not a before and after. But apparently, there seemed to be somebody called Tony Parsons who thought that they were a seeker. And then apparently that whole thing simply fell away, and there was everything and nothing, which can't be described. But there wasn't thereafter a Tony Parsons who now knew what it was all about and had all the answers. There wasn't any Tony Parsons. There never was a Tony Parsons. Just a whole fantasy of there being a Tony Parsons was no more. But then you can't. Then you may then ask me, maybe because you like to go with the story as all seekers do. Well, what was it like after then, when the Tony Parsons was no more? What was it like? Who are you asking? There isn't anybody. There's nobody. There's nobody sitting in this room. There's an appearance of bodies, and the body may pick up a microphone and ask some question about their own life or what's going to happen next. But all of that is out of the fantasy. That's all out of the fantasy. Nothing is real. It's only an appearance. And there isn't a before and after. There is only what is.
They are not shelters.
Say that again.
Shelters.
Shadows.
So, I'm not getting that. I didn't hear that at all.
Sorry. When a baby burn, resist.
Can somebody else say what they hear? No.
You'd like to know if there is birth.
She'd like to know if there's birth.
Birth, well, we've already described that. It's an appearance. Being born is an appearance out of nothing. And then what seems to arise is a baby child that seems to be born. So what? So what? Are you?
if there is all these appearances, then,
Everything is only an appearance.
yeah, then there must be a space for the appearance.
Space. Well, the appearance is, the space in which the appearance arises is also an appearance.
But if nothing is real,
No, nothing isn't real. There is nothing that's real.
sorry.
There's nothing that is real.
Yes, but doesn't it matter if I put out the gun and shoot everybody here?
Well,
It doesn't matter.
not whether it matters or not, it's an appearance.
Yes, but would you be shocked if I do it?
I don't know, you'll have to give it a go, really. Have you got a gun? Well, I wouldn't be, there would be a surprise that you would choose to shoot all these people.
But
So
would it
when
do
you
something with your? I know you are not. You are not. But if I ask you if somebody would do it here, would you be shocked? Would shock?
I don't know,
people-
it's a hypothetical question, I've no idea. So what? What's the point? Does that make shooting somebody wrong because you're back in the dualistic world where there is right and wrong? It is wrong to shoot lots of people in the room. So I've now proved that dualism is valid. Well, bullshit, I'm sorry. There is no right or wrong. All there is what apparently happened. If you got up and shot everybody in the room, it wouldn't be you doing it, and it wouldn't be you shooting anyone, because there isn't anyone.
I don't understand. So,
Oh, is someone else asking a question?
Oh. No, oh,
Yes, I said so. Can you say, or can somebody say, that you will always find what you are apparently looking for?
no, you never will.
Okay,
Because the problem for the seeker is that the seeker is looking for an object.
Yeah.
Aren't any.
so you're not creating your own world by
No.
your convention. No.
Nobody's creating anything. All there is what appears to be happening. This appears to be happening.
My master died 6 months ago. I can't speak English very well, but it's not me that I understand nothing.
You are Tom.
She said she understands nothing.
Right?
You say you understand nothing?
No. When you speak about nothing, my name is Sophie. Sophie can't understand nothing,
No.
but I feel.
No, that's right.
You know.
Neither can I.
Tony, I had a question, but I think I know, well, I'll see what you say. I love it, and we talked about this in Pax Lodge in London, the passion that comes out from you, like when you're responding to some questions and you get really angry.
I don't know whether I actually get angry, but it doesn't.
Okay. But that passion's amazing.
The passion's there, yeah.
And I was going to ask where that comes from.
Nothing. Everything that's coming out of this is nothing. You're talking to a response. So when that sort of thing happens, there's a response, which you could say sounds angry. To me, it sounds more like a passion, you know, and also there's an energy about destroying the ignorance or the false or the misconceived idea that if I can prove that there's right or wrong and they are real, then somehow I can prove it to dualism.
So if there's an energy of destroying, why would wholeness or the beloved want to destroy?
It doesn't
the
want
illusion
to,
of
it just does.
Wholeness destroys the illusion of dualism.
But it doesn't want to destroy it, it just does. It's pretty obvious why too, isn't it?
I don't know why.
Oh, come on. Non-dualism simply exposes dualism as a fantasy. It's very obvious. Very obvious.
Thank you. Tony, I wanted to ask something about what I just said. So here there's an apparent energy of destruction going on. And maybe some of us die in the next couple of years. Not die physically, but the illusion.
I know what you mean, maybe.
And obviously there's people who don't come to these meetings, like you said, that still that collapse happens. But why are so many people allowed to remain in their blissful ignorance?
Well, they're not allowed to. It's as though you're back to God. I allow you to be ignorant. There isn't anything that allows anything. All there is what apparently happens.
I won't get an answer, I suppose, but...
Well, no, but you just got an answer, but you don't like it. I can't think of another answer that you would like. Oh, I can't think of one.
It kind of... It seems unfair to me that I have to suffer through this apparent dying.
Oh, this is... life is grossly unfair. No, really. Grossly unfair. There's no God out there with a balance. Ooh. It just is what happens, apparently. Which, even more unfairly, is completely meaningless and without purpose. That's awful in the world of, getting it right.
So, you said life is grossly unfair, but when there's no one there, then nothing is considered as unfair.
Oh no, I'm just responding to something. But whether it's unfair or not simply doesn't arise. It just is what it is. When the fantasy is over, it just is what it is.
Because there's no one to feel like a victim. I feel like a victim, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I wish I could stop it, but I do.
Do you have wishes?
No, I don't have wishes, but wishes arise. I don't have any, let me say, I don't have anything because there isn't anybody. There's nobody here. So there isn't somebody who has or doesn't have something. But in the apparent happening, wishes can arise.
Is it better when we go out after this 2 hours?
There isn't anything better.
Now when we go, now my question is it better we go out and help everybody or we don't help?
It's much better if you don't help people, really. Because there's nothing worse than a holy helper. There is nobody check off. And there is no help needed.
Yeah.
Because there is nowhere to go. Nothing is been lost. The problem with the helper is that they believe they found something and they try to help other people find what they think they found. It's the case with most teachers. Teachings about this mystery. And that is that the teaching is based on the erroneous idea that somebody can learn how to go through a process and find something. It's complete and utter fantasy.
But why did you come here? You
I-
fly from
No, that's amazing. So are you sort of because I don't want to help anybody, or because there's
Yes,
nobody
yes.
to help.
No, but I.
Why did I come here? There is no answer to why. I didn't come here. I'm not here. This is what is happening.
Yes.
This thing walked through the room, sat on the seat, and is now talking. It's nothing responding.
But I see you sitting here, and
Oh,
you say it's only.
You think you see a person.
Yes.
That's the way it goes. You're not, it's something you don't want to hear. It's called selective hearing.
Selective hearing.
Selective hearing is what dualists do. They listen to what they want to listen to and discard what is uncomfortable. I don't know how many times I've said in this, that there is nothing here, it just responds out of nothing. There's no one. You can't hear that. You don't want to hear that. You want to hear that there's someone here who would stop you shooting all the people in the room, or help people across the road, or like crap.
No, I don't. I only would like to understand it, and I think.
No, you could never understand that there's no one sitting here, and this is just a response, because as far as you're concerned, you see everything from a dualistic point of view. So I must be a person. There's nothing right or wrong with that. It's what's apparently happening.
Tony, when we were speaking, I think it was last week on the phone, you were saying you feel sad that no one else sees it.
No, sadness arises.
Okay, you said sadness arises there because no one else sees this, or so many,
I
or
didn't-
not.
I'm sorry,
no one
I
else.
didn't say no one else sees.
You said because so many people don't see it, or
Right, yeah.
something along those lines. So I get what you just said about there's no one to help and there's no one there to help, but sadness arises when you see people suffering or apparent people suffering.
Is there something wrong with that?
No, I think.
Have I done something wrong?
No, it's just I was just, I suppose because in my mind, as this is me in dualism, feeling sad, you want to do something about it.
No.
Okay.
That's what was sadness. Mike, there.
So isn't it wonderful how we can kind of have all those great feelings when we believe in dualism and consider
Yeah, it's what
dualism to
I
happen?
don't know about wonderful, but it's what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't think the seeker thinks it's wonderful, but
The what's not wonderful?
well, I don't think the seeker thinks the things that they're experiencing are necessarily wonderful.
Yeah, but it's great
Okay.
to have the appearance of
Right.
dualism and
This is what you believe or what you feel.
I did not yet discover that I could emerge into nothingness.
Well, you can't. So don't bother. Over there, Mike.
Hi, Tony. So since I saw the video of you sitting here about a year or two ago, it's exposed how unsatisfactory the dualistic experience is, and it's sometimes good and sometimes really bad, or it's just exposing something that I don't understand, and I love it and I hate it. And it's, yeah.
Thank you.
Tony, are there particular circumstances that can allow?
No.
A lot of the times when I watch you, like on videos, and especially just then, you remind me of a naughty child.
No.
And what it is a massive. But what I was thinking was, you know, when parents see the naughty child who won't conform, the first thought they have is we have to discipline them and get them to conform. Well, with a lot of parents I've seen, do you think that is because they feel threatened by the freedom of that child?
Can be, or the motivation that I want to get my child acting in the right way. You know, it's a bit of a mix.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of the need to control everything is coming from a threat if something's too free.
Totally.
If something's too free, it's unpredictable.
We've got to get it right. You know, especially in our part of the world, which is actually, whatever it says, is still very Christian influence. Right and wrong thing. That's a huge energy in this part of the world to do with getting it right and wrong.
I remember
the Christian Jews.
when we were talking on the phone this week, you were saying that you feel when you talk to anyone outside of these meetings, when you're talking to other people, they always have this sense that they can't quite predict what you're going to do next, even if they don't know it.
I don't know. I don't think. I can't say that. I can't say the people I talk to have a feeling of not being able to predict what's coming next. It's more likely to happen in a meeting like this than at the local bakers.
Okay.
Yeah. I couldn't care less which way I went.
But you were saying something about there's a feeling people have when they're, say if there's someone who feels like someone and they're talking to nothing, there can often be a feeling of helplessness on the part of the someone. Is that because they feel their game isn't going to work?
Yeah, you know, the questioner, the seeker wants something, but get to hold them for you, they're not going to get what they want. Yeah.
And it could happen with someone outside of the meetings too, if they've got an
It
agenda.
depends if you're talking about this sort of thing outside the meeting, which does happen.
I just meant in terms of like, if someone, they're not talking about this, but they're just talking to you, and I suppose it would only come up if they had some kind of an agenda with you. There could be a recognition that they weren't going to be able to get.
There might be, but so what?
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, over here. Please, thank you.
Yeah. I guess it's in many areas, but when I watch comedians, sometimes I wonder if lots of them, even they're really dualistic, and there's a kind of sense of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, because I like to destroy everything.
It's got a bit mad. No,
feeling not to be? Is it a good feeling to be non-dual,
No.
like you? Not.
No feeling at all. There isn't anything that feels anything. It just is what it is.
But what is this appearance? Is it a good appearance?
No, you're not good or bad. It's just an appearance.
It's not better than not.
No.
It's not better than
There's
to
no,
be dual.
there isn't any good or bad here. It just is what it is. It's called freedom. There isn't somebody who is free. It is simply that the energy of this is complete freedom.
But it sounds good.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
Well, you would do somebody still in the.
Tony, nobody search.
Nobody.
It is nobody. All I feel, but I am nobody.
You feel that you are nobody,
No.
and you are someone who feels they are nobody.
Nobody search.
Nobody searches? That's the question, right? Is it nobody searching?
Oh,
Yeah.
you can't answer that. What a funny question. Is nobody searching? Apparently there are quite a lot of people searching.
Nobody search who cannot find. Nobody search what we cannot find. Find.
I'm sorry, I'm just not getting what you're talking about. I've no idea what you're talking about. Somebody else saying what she was saying.
I think she means to say, is it no one that searches and no one can find?
No, that's fair enough. Yeah. I go along with that.
I've been wondering about resonance.
Resonance.
Yes, and I've been trying to find an example just for the last couple of minutes. And when there's pain apparently happening, it's a strong trigger to believe in existence, in the bodily existence, when pain is present. And I do have the experience, it just being happening, moaning being happening, thoughts of unbearability being happening. That's kind of, it's happening. But and then when my child had pain, that's much more difficult.
No, what is
to just.
Why is it? It's just what's happening.
Still, there is this, there's this bonding, that's the one thing, and now I want to go further. When I'm really witnessing it being happening, it changes something in the pain of the child. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it's also when a person being very present the way you are and is entering a room, the presence does something with appearances getting more transparent, and I'm wondering about this resonance of witnessing and presence that makes something happening that comes closer to non-duality.
Okay, so
you understand what I mean? And what my question is, what is this resonance?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm glad.
Tony, if I come to you and I say, I wrote your books, I've read your books, I listened to your videos, and I came here, and with my intellect, I find that what you say is really true.
Oh.
I can't help but to say anything else. It's true, but for some reason, I don't live it. I can't live.
Well, no, of course you can't. This is what I'm talking about. Has nothing to do with you at all. Not in any way. Has nothing to do with anyone in this room. It's beyond, you know, the whole sense of it having anything to do with anyone. It's completely and utterly impersonal. You can understand, as you described, quite a lot of what's being said on YouTube and in the book, but this is not about understanding, it's about energy. It's about something energetic that's in this room right now, shouting its head off. It can't be heard because there's a lot of other stuff going on about the meaning of it.
But why is this happening, and how to stop this process?
Well, it's happening because of dualism, because apparently there's a lot of people in the world who seem to enter the fantasy of dualism and then go on encouraging the idea, the whole false idea, that there's something that can be found. That's the most popular message.
But I'm convinced that what you say is true.
So you what?
Yes, I'm convinced that...
Well, yeah, but being convinced of what I'm saying is not the same as an energetic shift. It's still something that's happening to you. You, the individual, is convinced about what is being said. Not the same thing.
How to change this process?
It won't necessarily. Except that some other sense can arise, some opening can arise in almost. What seems to happen to people is that there's an opening, not about being convinced, not about believing anything that's been said at all, but somehow there's a, oh.
See, maybe if you... Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
So if there is energy and complete freedom.
Well, all there is energy. Everything is energy.
Everything's energy.
Including that which is nothing, it's still energy.
Yeah. And we have those bodily appearances here and now. And wouldn't it be exciting if there would be other appearances?
I've no idea. But I would say that this is not about excitement. It's about something very simple and ordinary.
Tony, when you talk about the energy of destruction.
Of deception?
No, the energy of destruction.
Oh.
Which this communication is.
It makes it sound like a something. You know, there is just energy, and incidentally, it also has a tendency to destroy the idea of seeking.
Yeah, because I feel like
it doesn't go out to destroy, it just happens and does.
Because I feel like the seeking energy here is kind of fighting to survive and win, ultimately. That's not separate from the destruction.
It's a problem. No, because all there is what apparently happens.
It's all, so all appearance is the same energy.
Well, yeah. All there is what apparently happens.
Why does it feel to me like two different things?
Because you're seeing it from a materialistic point of view.
So if there's more openness arising with someone,
Possibly.
or more seeking, it makes no difference.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm just realising how much value I give to. So say there's an openness one day. So if there's an openness one day, I'm like, oh, what a fantastic day that was. Versus if there's a day when it's so much more contracted and I think, oh, that's terrible. It's just because I'm ascribing so much value to that whole thing, yeah.
I wondered, do you read?
Reading happens, I don't read, but I have to say, not a lot of reading happens.
Because you told us, or I don't have words for that, but you told us that you were on the phone with a friend who told you that he can't tell you because he hasn't got the words for what he was.
What I could do, I mean, lots of people ring me over the years and say, you know, the whole illusion of me being separate has fallen away. But I can't describe to you what that is like.
Yeah.
Because I could never describe it to anybody else. What's that got to do with reading?
Yeah, it could, there could be poets, I mean, that appear to be a lot of poets in a
Shakespeare, that lot. Yeah.
Who could have words which kind of transport a bit the glimpse.
They can point. Thank you. So we're going to have a tea break now.